Good morning, y'all, y buenos dias. So we are here with part 3 on my series on tantrums. The first 2 will be linked down below. The first one is how to avoid tantrums. The second is how to deal with tantrums as they're happening. And this final video is what not to do while a tantrum is going on. So if you guys are interested, then keep on watching. All right, so I really hope you guys watch the first 2 videos because I go in depth onto a couple of things in there that I will be reiterating in this one. So the first thing you want to do while your little one is having a tantrum is any form of physical violence to your child. As a parent of a 2.5-year-old, I get it, okay? I get how mad you can get. I get how at the end of a long day, you just feel like you are going to explode if that person, being your little one, is gonna start another tantrum. It's been 20 minutes. I completely understand, but you have to be the adult. You have to be the grown person. Just walk away. Just walk away if that's an option. I'm serious. It seems like it's not an option, but just be like, I can't handle this right now. I'm scared. I'm gonna do something I really don't want to do, and just walk away. Walk away and take 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Take 1 minute. Take 60 seconds and just breathe. Just be like, this is just a temporary thing. It's not the end of the world. Collect yourself and don't revert to that. You don't have to. You don't have to, because the repercussions that will have on your child are endless. As someone who has dealt with forms of that and has seen so much of that, it's unnecessary. It really is. And your child is not going to learn from that experience. They're going to learn to try to avoid it, but that doesn't mean they're going to learn the consequence, the actual consequence of it. So please refrain from any form of physical violence, because it's not necessary and it's so damaging. Second thing to avoid is don't yell. I know how ridiculous that sounds. Like, all you want to do is yell at them. I get it. I had a major slip up one time, and this is me just being raw and honest with you guys. Luna was having this ridiculous tantrum, because most of the time they are. I get it, I understand. She was having this tantrum, she was having some breakdown while I was trying to cook. I was so pregnant, I was so tired, I was so hungry, and I just went off, y'all. I went off and I was like, Luna, ya le dije 1,000,000 de veces que tiene. Like, I just went off and I yelled, and the second I stopped, she was just staring at me and she was just sobbing more now than before I did. So that didn't help at all. Literally only made it worse. And she just said, Mama, no grite. And it broke every single piece of my heart. And it makes me want to cry just thinking about it now, because I felt terrible. And I genuinely apologized to her. And I confronted her and I said, I wasn't supposed to do that. And I explained to her that I didn't handle myself properly and that I don't want to be like that. And so I took that moment and made it into a teachable moment, saying, like, I have fault. I am not perfect. I am not the perfect person that you need to idolize. I am a human being, and that the yelling didn't help. You get what I'm saying? It didn't. It doesn't ever. If you're having an emotional moment and someone yells at you and is like, you need to stop crying, that's not gonna make you stop crying. It's not. So it's bad for the development of that child, for the way that that child is seeing you. And also, it doesn't help. Like, it doesn't make a difference in that tantrum. They're just going to either freeze and be more upset about it, or just cry and be more upset about it. So yelling does not help the situation. It really doesn't. So please avoid that at all costs. Next, don't, and it's a biggie, is don't give in. Depending on what situation you're dealing with, do not give in. Obviously, with this, you have to manage what the situation is and the severity of what's going on and the time that you have and the emotional endurance that you have for the situation. But don't give in. I am very much not a passive parent, and that's just because of my upbringing, and I come from very stern parents who things had to happen a certain way, and so obviously I got a little bit of that in me too. And so as gentle and as relaxed and loving, that I try to be 99% of the time, I'm still very stern. And when things need to get done, they need to get done. So we're going to the store, you need to put shoes on. It's not a negotiable thing. You need to put pants on. It's not a negotiable thing. And so you can't give in, because you're breaking that in yourself, which feels like crap. And you're showing that to your child as well. Like, no, these are things that are non-negotiable. They need to happen, and we're gonna move forward with this. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes it's a whole lot of breakdown going on while all of this is going on, but you have to stay stern. You have to stay with what your beliefs are, and that's different from person to person. So don't compare that to mine, and don't compare it to somebody else's. You have to figure out what values you have for your family, what truths you hold, and uphold those when you need to. So don't give in just because something is easy. If you're out somewhere, I see this all the time when I'm at the store, is some child, you know, having a tantrum over some kind of sweet or whatever at the store, and the parent is just so exhausted. And like I said, I get it. They're just exhausted and they're done. They're like, fine, just have it. That's not a good thing. That is not a good thing. And I get all kinds of stuff for it in the parenting world, just because I am a little more stern than your average gentle parenting, than your average attachment parenting. Because I know that certain things need to be done in a certain amount of time for us to be able to move forward. You get what I'm saying? And that's okay. As long as you are respectful about it, as long as you're, you know, having that respect for your child, I think that is completely okay. And that's not something for anyone to make you feel bad about. The next don't is do not talk too much. This is so counterproductive when it comes to a child having a meltdown. They're not listening. They're not listening. They're having a moment. So you going on and on and on and on about the reasons why they shouldn't have done this, about the reasons why they should have done that. They're not listening. So A, you're just wasting your time talking, and B, they're not listening. Like nothing is going on. And so get to the point, give small, concise bullet points of what it is, and that's it. And that's it. You don't have to be going on forever and ever, because it's not getting to them. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time, and they're not listening. And so be concise, be to the point. Don't ramble on and on and on. The last don't is don't trivialize their feelings. The last thing you want when you're having a moment is for someone to tell you to get over it. It's for someone to tell you it's not that big a deal. For someone to tell you, why are you being like this? It literally just makes it worse, right? Like, have you ever felt that just when someone completely demolishes what it is that you're feeling, you feel like crap. And that's how children are too. And so just try to avoid that. Try to validate their feelings. Try to see where they're coming from. I know that sometimes, most of the time, the things that they're freaking out about seem completely ridiculous, but to them, they're real. And so by validating those feelings, they're able to move forward. So please avoid trivializing their emotions. And my final one is don't try to punish. There is a big difference between punishment and discipline. And I will make a whole nother video about that if you guys are interested. Those are two different spectrums. A lot of people don't realize punishment is not the same as discipline. Discipline is something that you are learning from, and punishment is something that you're just upholding that punishment. You're just holding that guilt. And so those are two completely different things. So try to avoid things, for example, that are like, oh, you did this, now you can't have dessert. That doesn't make sense. It's not in the same realm of what that action is. And I can talk a little bit more about natural consequences in another video if you guys want. But giving these random punishments that don't make sense don't help your child learn, because that's what we're trying to do, y'all. We're trying to help them learn what it is that appropriate behavior is, what it is appropriate way of handling certain things. So just by randomly punishing things that just don't make any sense, don't help at all. So avoid punishment and try to bring discipline into the conversation. So that is it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, the other two videos will be linked down below. If you guys have any comments or questions, please send them over to my Instagram. YouTube still has all of my comments disabled, which is a little bit of a bummer, but I'm totally answering all the questions and comments over on Instagram. Tlazocamahti for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later.